Good day, everyone. I'm Zahrani from SEAMEO Simolek, based in Jakarta, Indonesia. I will be hosting today's important discussion on future-ready teaching, embracing AI in education. This webinar is organized by SEAMEO RECSAM with support team, the Ministry of Education Thailand, ASEAN Secretariat, SEAMEO Simolek, SEAMEO STEM-Ed, and University Malaya. Welcome to our panelists and audience participants. We are grateful for your presence here today from all corners of the world. This event is being recorded and broadcast live through SEAMEO RECSAM Facebook and YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us, and let's make this a successful and meaningful event. An e-certificate of participation will be provided to registered participants who completed the evaluation form after the program. Please submit the form by 11:59 tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will begin the webinar with 3 short video presentations. Those are SEAMEO Colors, ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community, Bringing Opportunities Closer to the Asian People, and RECSAM Forges Ahead. ICT, please.
The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, was founded on August 8, 1967. It grew from 5 member states to its current 10. For decades, ASEAN helped the region remain peaceful, stable, and prosperous. The regional bloc was built on a solid foundation, but ASEAN's leaders decided it was time to reinforce it. On October 7, 2003, the vision of an ASEAN community was born. At the summit in Bali, Indonesia, ASEAN leaders adopted the Declaration of ASEAN Concord II, or Bali Concord II, to establish an ASEAN community by 2020. Its 3 pillars, the political, security, economic, and socio-cultural communities, were established. The idea was for the 3 pillars to work together and build a stronger, more united, and resilient ASEAN community. As I explained in the first video of this series, the socio-cultural community, or ASCC, is the people's pillar. Our work is all about improving people's quality of life. Our journey is one of bringing ASEAN closer to its people. So how are we getting there? The ASCC Blueprint is our map for the road ahead. In November 2007, ASEAN leaders agreed to create the first roadmap, the ASCC Blueprint for 2009-2015. With it, ASEAN made a more substantial commitment to the human dimension of development. The ASCC Blueprint 2020 to 2025 builds on the previous one, and it is now our guide for the journey ahead. Over the past 2 decades, socioeconomic conditions have improved significantly for people in the region. Take a look at these figures. Life expectancy at birth increased from 63.4 in 2000 to 71.4 in 2019. From 2010 to 2019, more primary-age children were enrolled in schools, an increase from 95 to 98%. More women hold seats in ASEAN parliaments, 20% in 2018 compared to just 1.7% in 2008. Fewer mothers are dying from childbirth. For every 100,000 live births, maternal mortality rates fell from 262.6 in 2009 to 53.6 in 2018. 13 per 100 people were living below country's poverty line in 2018, decreasing from 25 in 2000. While life has significantly improved in the region, there is more work to be done. With the new roadmap as a guide, ASEAN is helping form policies in the fields of human development, social justice, welfare, environmental sustainability, and ASEAN awareness. Here are just a few examples. To uphold migrant workers' rights, we have the ASEAN Consensus on the protection and promotion of the rights of migrant workers. To promote gender equality and women's rights, we have the ASEAN Declaration on the Gender-Responsive Implementation of the ASEAN Community Vision 2025 and Sustainable Development Goals. To tackle the issue of malnutrition, we have the ASEAN Leaders' Declaration on Ending All Forms of Malnutrition and the ASEAN Strategic Framework and Action Plan for Nutrition 2018 to 2030. We have seen a significant decline in extreme poverty rates among the member states and improved health and education. There is an expanding middle class and a growing regional workforce. Urban populations are on the rise. New services, infrastructure development, and evolving lifestyles in ASEAN cities. But it's not all about jobs and money. Happiness and fulfillment are closely linked to our environment. ASCC's work also focuses on conserving biodiversity and sustainability. We have increased the number of protected areas in the region with 44 ASEAN heritage parks. Our environment sector has taken vital steps to help eradicate marine debris and transboundary haze pollution, two issues that impact our people's health and well-being. The ASEAN Declaration on Culture Prevention aspires for a peaceful, inclusive, resilient, healthy, and harmonious society. The culture prevention sets out to deal with the root causes of social problems in the region. Put simply, this approach will help us prevent problems before they could create a negative impact on our lives. A 2018 awareness poll conducted in the 10 ASEAN member states gave us some helpful clues about what you think of ASEAN and what you should expect from it. 94% of respondents identified themselves as ASEAN citizens. Most of them agree a shared identity is essential to making the ASEAN community even more robust. 4 out of 5 respondents were optimistic ASEAN would bring shared benefits and prosperity to the region in the years ahead. They want collaboration in developing a regional economy, promoting traditions and values, and a shared vision. ASCC invites you to join us in our journey to achieve that vision. Together, let's build a stronger and better ASEAN community.
The Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, SEAMEO, is a regional intergovernmental organization established in 1965 among governments of Southeast Asian countries to promote regional cooperation in education, science, and culture in the region. SEAMEO Regional Center for Education in Science and Mathematics, SEAMEO RECSAM, was established in 1967 to help promote and enhance science and mathematics education among the SEAMEO member countries. SEAMEO RECSAM fulfills this mission by engaging in research and development activities to inform pedagogy and policy, designing and implementing high-quality professional development programs for science and mathematics educators, ensuring strong collaboration and active networking with experts, institutions, and the community, serving as a clearinghouse for information by convening international conferences, regional congress, SEAMEO Science Olympiad, seminar workshops, as well as maintaining its journal publication and strengthening quality assurance in the management of its resources and services rendered to its clientele.
SEAMEO RECSAM achieved regional, national, and international recognitions as a center of excellence for training, as well as research and development in science, mathematics, and technology educations in the SEAMEO member countries.
To strengthen its role as a science, mathematics, and technology training center and to meet the 7 priority areas of SEAMEO, SEAMEO RECSAM always opens for international collaboration, cooperation, and knowledge exchange for sustainable development in education. International collaboration fosters a different kind of curiosity, perspective, and learning, and allows us to train the best talent educators and students worldwide. Through the collaborations, we hope to make the future better than the past. In order to move forward to adapt 21st century teaching and learning amongst educators and students, we hope to create a cross-border, cross-cultural, and cross-generation education platform, which is available to all without geographical limitation, constraints of different zones, or different languages used. We wish to bridge the gaps for intercultural exchange and create an instantaneous, accessible communication platform and the best gateway for the future generation. With the motto Passion for Learning, SEAMEO RECSAM continues to promote and enhance science and mathematics education in the SEAMEO member countries in years to come.
Thank you, ICT team, for playing the video. Next, please allow me to welcome Dr. Suthep Kainsangtia, Permanent Secretary for Education, Ministry of Education Thailand, Co-Chair of the ASEAN Senior Official Meeting on Education or Summit, to deliver his welcoming remark.
ท่านวิทยากรผู้เข้าร่วมสัมมนาทุกท่านครับก่อนอื่นผมต้องขอขอบคุณศูนย์ SEAMEO RECSAM และสำนักเลขาธิการอาเซียนที่ให้เกียรติกระทรวงศึกษาธิการของประเทศไทยและผมในฐานะประธานเจ้าที่อาวุโสด้านการศึกษาอาเซียนมาเป็นประธานในการกล่าวเปิดสัมมนาออนไลน์ในครั้งนี้ผมขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่การสัมมนาเพื่อเรียนรู้เกี่ยวกับเรื่องของปัญญาประดิษฐ์เพื่อเตรียมความพร้อมสำหรับอนาคตโดยเฉพาะเรื่องของการนำมาใช้ในระบบการศึกษาการเข้าร่วมสัมมนาในวันนี้ถือว่าเป็นโอกาสอันดีที่จะทำให้พวกเราได้มีโอกาสร่วมกันศึกษาและแลกเปลี่ยนความรู้เกี่ยวกับการใช้ปัญญาประดิษฐ์ในการจัดการศึกษาซึ่งเป็นหัวข้อที่มีความสำคัญและน่าตื่นเต้นในยุคดิจิทัลที่เรากำลังเผชิญอยู่ณปัจจุบันเป็นที่ทราบกันดีอยู่แล้วว่าความก้าวหน้าด้านวิทยาศาสตร์และเทคโนโลยีมีการเปลี่ยนแปลงอย่างรวดเร็วและได้ส่งผลกระทบอย่างมากต่อระบบการศึกษาโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งการพัฒนาด้าน AI ที่มีส่วนสำคัญในการเปลี่ยนแปลงวิธีการสอนวิธีการเรียนรู้นะครับโดยเฉพาะในช่วงไม่กี่ปีที่ผ่านมานอกจากจะช่วยเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพในการเรียนรู้แล้วยังเปิดโอกาสให้พวกเราสามารถสร้างสรรค์วิธีการสอนใหม่ๆที่เหมาะสมกับผู้เรียนในแต่ละบุคคลได้ด้วยวันนี้พวกเราได้มาฟังจากวิทยากรที่มีความเชี่ยวชาญในด้านนี้อาจจะมาแบ่งปันมุมมองและแนวทางที่น่าสนใจในการนำเอา AI มาประยุกต์ใช้ในห้องเรียนในโอกาสนี้ผมหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าผู้เข้าร่วมสัมมนาทุกท่านจะได้มีส่วนร่วมในการอภิปรายแลกเปลี่ยนกันอย่างเต็มที่และสามารถวิเคราะห์นำความรู้ที่ได้จากการสัมมนาในครั้งนี้ไปปรับใช้ในการเรียนการสอนได้อย่างสร้างสรรค์และมีประสิทธิภาพต่อไป ท้ายที่สุดนี้ผมขอขอบคุณศูนย์ SEAMEO RECSAM ท่านวิทยากรและผู้เข้าร่วมสัมมนาทุกท่านนะครับที่ได้ร่วมกันส่งเสริมพัฒนาศักยภาพให้กับครูและก็บุคลากรทางการศึกษาในภูมิภาคของเราขอให้ทุกท่านมีความสุขกับการสัมมนาในครั้งนี้และหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าเราจะสามารถสร้างแรงบันดาลใจซึ่งกันและกันในการที่จะนำ AI มาเพื่อใช้ในการที่จะพัฒนาอนาคตที่ดีกว่าในวงการศึกษาของพวกเราขอบคุณครับ
Thank you, sir, for your insightful remarks. Distinguished participants, today we have a very interesting panelist who will talk about artificial intelligence, one of the most groundbreaking technologies of our time. They will provide insights into the latest developments in AI and what teachers and educators should know about it, and familiarize teachers and educators with various AI applications, such as tools for generating lesson plans, designing assessments, and creating interactive learning activities. We hope you will enjoy and gain valuable knowledge from their presentations. The format for today's webinar will consist of a presentation by each expert panelist, followed by a question and answer. Later in the program, our dear panelists will take turns in answering them. So start listing your question by using slido.com. To ask questions, enter code 3130-766 and type in your questions. Our moderator and speakers will be addressing them at the end of their presentations. Our secretary has posted the link and code in the chat box and comment section for ease of reference. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will discuss three primary objectives. First, familiarize teachers with the basics of AI and its application in education. Number two, facilitate a discussion on how teachers can use AI to enhance student engagement and learning outcomes. And three, familiarize teachers with various AI applications, such as tools for generating lesson plans. Without further ado, let's join me in welcoming our moderator from SEAMEO RECSAM for this webinar. Dr. Wan Nur Azmin is an education specialist at SEAMEO RECSAM. She has a vast experience in mathematics education with expertise in inquiry-based mathematics educations, computational thinking skills, mathematics educations, STEM education with more than 33 years of teaching experience in secondary schools, Teacher Training Institute. Together, allow me to welcome and pass the floor to Dr. Wan Nur Azmin. The floor is yours, madam.
Thank you, Ms. Zarani. Welcome, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Please allow me to introduce the first speaker for today's session, Associate Professor Dr. Sreko Yoksimovic from the University of South Australia. Associate Professor Sreko Yoksimovic is an Associate Director, Grants, Partnerships and Engagement at the Center for Change and Complexity in Learning. His research is centered around augmenting the abilities of individuals to solve complex problems in collaborative settings. Sreko is particularly interested in evaluating the influence of contextual, social, cognitive, and affective factors on groups and individuals as they solve complex real-world problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Associate Professor Dr. Sreko Yoksimovic. So, Doctor, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for this nice introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. I heard that we have really large numbers of participants, so it's great that we have this opportunity to share with you and talk a little bit more about AI and things that we all seem to be interested in these days. And I know that Zahrani made some big promises there. We'll try to fulfill most of these if we can, but I believe that most of the things I will share today to start the discussion rather than give all the answers. So I will raise some questions and share some history of AI because I think it's important to understand where we come from to be able to make sense of where we seem to be heading to. And after that first part of talking about where we come from in artificial intelligence research and practice, I'll position that in education settings and move into talking a little bit more about um, how the role of teachers might change in this new age of AI. So I hope that you can see my slides. If not, please jump in and interrupt me if something goes wrong. So as Professor already said, I'm coming from the Center for Changing Complexity and Learning here at the University of South Australia, and without further ado, I'll just jump into the content. So as I said, there are many ways of defining artificial intelligence, and I won't be talking about formal definition of artificial intelligence, but it's important to understand that when we talk about artificial AI, we talk about two types of AI, narrow and general AI. Most of the applications that we have at the moment sit under the narrow AI. This is basically machine learning. These are some of the algorithms that we have now in place, and this is what most of the work currently is centered around. This kind of artificial intelligence is designed to solve a simple problem, and it doesn't think like humans do, right? So it's not able to solve any problem. Those are kind of applications are designed to solve a particular type of problem. General AI, on the other hand, and sometimes you might hear super AI, but that's the next level, and we're not going to go there. General AI is closer to human intelligence, or maybe goes beyond human intelligence, but that's the type of intelligence that it's able to think on its own and solve problems on its own. We're not there just yet, and there are different predictions when and if we might get there. But some of those predictions actually talk about not achieving general AI as a single entity, but rather a set of narrow AI applications that will solve different types of problems, and that's how we might actually end up reaching the general AI. Everything started unfortunately not with ChatGPT, but long time before ChatGPT. And back in 1950s, Alan Turing published his groundbreaking paper where he posed this critical question: can machines think? And back in the days, Alan Turing introduced his Turing test. You might have heard of Turing test recently, as we saw different versions of ChatGPT coming out. And back then, it wasn't really called a test at the beginning. It was experiment, or there was another concept back in the days. But later, that original idea was turned into Turing test. And the whole idea was basically, if you have a human talking to AI versus talking to human, if this human talking to those two entities cannot tell the difference who he or she is talking to, then the machine passed the test. But you can, of course, read more. And all those topics that I talk about here, I will just try to give you a brief overview where the things are coming from, and I'm happy to stay afterwards or maybe follow up later on to talk in more details. But the first mentioning of artificial intelligence was actually in 1956 at the Dartmouth workshop or conference, organized at Dartmouth College. That's why it was called Dartmouth Conference, right? By some of the most influential researchers in the field back then, and they started to think how we build artificial intelligence. Out of this work and some of his work later, Minsky published another seminal work back in 1961 that outlined steps towards artificial intelligence. So these are the beginnings. These are the early years where everything actually started. But the first implementation of artificial intelligence was mostly focused on some of the rule-based expert systems. I said here Dendral was the first expert system, but we can say one of the first expert systems that was used for chemical analysis, for example. Another one, Mycin knowledge based consultation program that was designed to diagnose bacterial infections and recommend antibiotic treatments, for example. And another big milestone back in the days was Prolog, introduction of the Prolog programming language that was designed tailored for AI applications, and especially for implementing rule-based systems and logic programming. So the AI, this first AI was heavy on the rule-based expert systems, and we will see later on why this was important. At the same time, Geoffrey Hinton and his group actually started another line of work that was structured around learning from data and building neural networks. And you will see that the Geoffrey Hinton and his group and his colleagues and students were instrumental in developing what we now have as ChatGPT, large language models, and other topics, because they continued this work on neural networks since 1982 and later. And you will, on the next few slides, I will talk about AI winter, where basically the research on AI almost stopped, but Jeffrey's group continued that work in the background and delivered what we basically have today. The key development in that domain was introduction of backpropagation algorithm in 1986, because the first neural network was simply one input, one line of not one input, but one layer of input variables and one output. To develop deep learning, where we had several layers of those inputs, well, several layers before we reached the output, backpropagation was the key. Because as we train neural networks, we need to understand whether we made a mistake or not. And if you have only one layer, it's easy to understand that there was a mistake, and then we adjust the weights in our neural networks, and then we learn the weights eventually. But if we have several layers, we can't easily follow where the error happened and how to adjust weights. So the backpropagation algorithm was the key groundbreaking achievement for the modern deep learning, and allowed us to nest as many layers in neural networks as we want, and that's why we call them deep learning. And eventually, mid-80s, the rise of machine learning focused on statistical and probabilistic models for learning from data. But not everything was so great back in the days, right? Otherwise, we might have had a general AI already. And why this is important? So you see that in 1960s and 1970s, there were some early setbacks. Like, for instance, a failure of machine translation. We expected way more in 1966 than we achieved. But then in 1969, Minsky and Puppet published a book on perceptron, which was the first neural network, the first AI. That perceptron was actually designed to find a solution to a problem. And it was really good. It's a simple algorithm, and it still is. Simple algorithm that can find a solution if solution exists. But what Minsky and Puppet showed back then is that perceptron cannot solve some of the problems, and that's why we need deep learning. And they said that these simple forms, the single layer neural networks, cannot solve all the problems. But that was understood as AI cannot solve all the problems, and that's why there was a hesitation from various research groups to continue research in neural networks. That was followed by funding withdrawals, like DARPA, one of the most influential bodies that actually invested in AI, decided to cut back most of the funding that they invested in AI. And that led to the first AI winter, where basically most of the US and UK researchers decided to stop doing the research in this domain. Then also, Lisp machines were developed for those rule-based systems. They collapsed. That market collapsed in 1980s to 1990s, and there was as a mark of the second AI winter, when the end of fifth generation computer project. What happened there is basically that most of the goals that were set to be achieved by early 1980s were not achieved until 1990s, and that was that marked the second AI winter. But as you can see, there were some of the early signs, like today, for instance, we have ChatGPT and we think, hey, can do everything. But then we also see some of the early setbacks here today, like for instance, McDonald's tried to automate their drive-through using the using AI, but they didn't work very well. And there are a few other examples where we see that AI actually still cannot do everything that we think it might do. But the difference now is that we have way more resources and funding is much more substantial today than it ever was. Early 2000, we see that we start using more data, and what changed from back in 1950s is that we have more data, we have more computational power, and we had a lot of breakthrough in the emergence of deep learning, which basically all those things together led to what we have today in the domain of AI and large language models in particular. Just checking, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can still hear you
Okay,
loud and
good,
clear.
good, good. That's good. And as you all know, the first breakthrough in the you're quite familiar with large language models, I would assume, and recent advancement in GPTs, different GPTs, but all that started back in 2010 and 2011. For instance, in 2011, Ilya Sutskever, who was instrumental in OpenAI and developing ChatGPT, he developed the first language model back in the days, but that model was trained only on Wikipedia only, and it was fairly simple. It could write a decent paragraph based on a simple prompt, but that research basically started back then, and we know where we sit now. A lot of investment in AI in robotics and autonomous systems. So we have all those self-driving cars, drones, and automated warehouses. You see that there are still some issues here and there, but the reason why the most of the breakthrough was made in text and image processing is simply because of all the advancements in deep learning. Again, in the application of AI education is slightly different because we need to know why certain decisions were made, which might not be necessary for self-driving cars, for instance. As long as we can drive the cars down the road, that actually that will work, right? And a lot of discussion for the last few years, as we realize that we might be actually getting closer to general AI, was focused on democratizing AI and ethical discussion around ethical AI. So this is basically where the whole discussion around AI came from and how we got to where we are at the moment. But the future directions of AI are quite exciting as well, as we try to move most of the computation on those edge devices, actually on smaller devices like mobile phones, rather than doing all the calculations in the cloud, because at the moment everything is somewhere in some machines. But can we push that calculations, that AI to the smaller devices, and of course reading and processing multimodal data such as from videos, text, and audio, and other modes of interactions. And of course, still a lot of work needs to be done in the domain of explainability and ethics. You can see that at the moment, a lot of countries work on different regulations around the use of AI. It seems like there is dark in my room. Let me try to get my lights on. But for instance, the European Union AI Act actually is one of the cornerstones of this discussion. And if you look into, and that's something that definitely requires attention. European Union, for example, considers every application of AI in education as a high-risk system, and that has a lot of implications on how those systems can be deployed. Australia also is doing a lot of work in regulation domain as well, as well as India, Brazil, and United States, of course. So there's a lot of work currently being done on the ethical and in ethics and regulation. Another interesting domain, and Bill Gates actually mentioned that recently, is where the domain where AI meets metacognition. We all know how metacognition is important and why it's important for us as humans, but there are two aspects there. One is how we use AI to support human metacognition, but more importantly, I would think, is how AI becomes metacognitive, how AI reaches that metacognition in a sense that can AI think about thinking? Can AI explain how it thinks and how it comes with different conclusions? So these are some of the future directions in general when it comes to AI development. When it comes to education, there has been several main aspects of the use of AI in education, but all of those center around personalized learning, providing that personalized learning experience. Because ever since Bloom posed his two sigma problem, where Bloom where he showed that the most effective way of teaching is one-on-one tutoring, we are trying to replicate that one-on-one tutoring because we can't have as many teachers as we have students, right? And at the end of the day, we as teachers also learn. So we need someone to help us develop further as well. So we can't have that one-on-one human personalized learning. So we're trying to use technology to replicate that. Of course, supporting student experience and identifying students at risk and who might need help. So this is basically, there are other domains as well, but these would be, I would think, the largest applications of AI, and not just AI, but data analytics in the domain of education. How this has been done so far? Well, there are three main bodies of research that if you are not familiar with, you should definitely look into these three fields, namely International AI in Education Society, Educational Data Mining, and Society for Learning Analytics Research. As you can see, AI ED celebrated 30 years. I think that was this year or last year. So that society has been there for the last 30 years. And what they do is mostly in the domain of intelligent tutoring systems, basically following that branch of, I mentioned the rule-based systems. So that somehow translated into intelligent tutoring systems where we have some kind of rules how we support learners on their journey. The problem with intelligent tutoring systems is basically they are very domain specific, and it takes a lot to translate them between different contexts. So integrating AI and recent advancement in large language models help shifting that paradigm a little bit and making intelligent tutoring systems more adaptable. Education data mining and Society for Learning Analytics Research are slightly different because they're a bit younger. They emerged in 2010 and 2011 to address the problem of having a lot of data coming from different learning management systems and making sure that we, as institutions, as we invest in different learning management systems and other platforms to collect student data, that we actually make use of it. The difference is that educational data mining is developing different algorithms around making use of data, but learning analytics is more around merging theory and data analytics in the use of in supporting learners. Each of those fields, on the other hand, has its own trajectory that was followed with some of the large breakthroughs in technology development and in particular with AI. So the whole discussion that led to the development of the field, such as learning analytics, started long time ago. And here you can see that we had some early intelligent tutoring systems even back in 1920s, even before we started the discussion of around AI. But then you see in 1970s, we evidenced the first AI techniques being incorporated in computer-assisted learning. Then, of course, learning sciences emerged in 1980s. Then in 1990s, we started to use first learning management systems. And then in 2000s, the rise of online learning, and later on massive open online courses. So each of those fields didn't simply show up, right? And someone said, hey, let's do research in this domain. There is a long trajectory that led to the development of each of those fields that to some extent. So what I'm trying to say here is that yes, AI plays a huge role in education today, but it's not just AI. There's a lot to it that actually makes the application of AI technology and data analytics in education quite specific. What do we have today? Well, you have probably seen all the titles around the headlines around the world. Oh, 5 minutes to go. Okay, I'll try to speed up a little bit. Where we say that things are different today, and that things will change again. But this is not the first time that we say that things will change. Back in 1970s, Ivan Illich, in his book Deschooling Society, talked about that we need new ways of education, that universities are not that are becoming obsolete. But obviously, nothing changed just yet. And of course, whenever some technological breakthrough shows up, then we have this pushback before it gets widely adopted in education. But why this time might be different? And I'll try to wrap it up in 5 minutes, but I can't promise. The difference now is that we can easily use ChatGPT in the classroom. So anyone can just log in and use ChatGPT for any kind of designing a course, designing assessment, designing quizzes, whatever the problem is that we might want to solve, which wasn't the case before. To introduce any learning analytics solution into the classroom, it takes a lot of stakeholders involved, a lot of time, a lot of resources. Now we have that ease of use, and now we have something that we can think with. So it's not just a tool, it will respond to us in a more meaningful way. So we kind of have a partner in learning, and we see that qualitative shift from in technology use. So not just transactional, where we ask technology to tell us something, or we just read something off the screen, but we kind of build some kind of relationship with this new technology. And we finally have potential to facilitate that personalized learning, or at least we think so. At the moment, a lot of ambitious goals. However, these translate still into some of the point-based responses, and not system level change. And of course, a lot of chatbots around. I just want to quickly point to some of the work that we've been doing at C3L, and I'm happy to follow up on each of those separately. But we use AI basically in creating questions in a video. As students watch video, we have this platform that actually creates questions based on the content. Whether we use the entire transcript or certain topics, we can vary the difficulty of those, and we incorporate AI supported feedback as well. This can be guided by teachers, like teachers approve the questions, or these can be unsupervised in a sense that we just let the system work with the learner, and then we follow up if there was any issues with the questions being generated. And also supporting that, of course, this ACDC stands for Andrew's Classroom Data Collection Kit. So obviously we will have to change the name just to avoid any issues with branding. But we are basically trying to push analytics into the classroom. So what this platform allows us to do is to collect data from different groups as they engage in complex problem solving, and to provide feedback back to teachers. So what we do here, we automate data collection, analysis, and reporting back to the teachers, so teachers would know where to look into and how to support students as they engage in group work. And finally, I mentioned, just for this part, I mentioned that there is a lot of work in regulation and ethics. We are establishing a special interest group under the European Association for Technology Enhanced Learning. There is a website. It's just for the workshop that we currently held in the actual conference. But feel free to reach out, and if you want to be involved in this discussion as well, because I'm rushing this because I want to get to the next point and the final point. which is how the role of teachers will evolve, hopefully might evolve in these new settings. So the whole idea of how AI developed and how the role of AI education developed is around augmentation, not automation. This means in supporting us to do something better, not replacing us as teachers. So what it actually means, there is something inherent in the role of a teacher. So it's not just I'm giving you a knowledge, but I'm also developing a relationship. I'm trying to develop to help you develop your values, to care about you, to address your needs. If we have AI to help us delivering the content and allow learners to ask questions and learn the content on their own, we can embrace the human-centric future of education. We can help them nurture the skills and values that we all value, and that we can help them develop as humans, not just to learn the content that we have to present. What this means? Well, teachers are becoming partners with AI in this process of learning, in creating the content. So we have the content created by AI. We can tweak it, we can curate it to the needs of the learners, we can cultivate learning communities, foster human skills, and provide ethical and moral guidance in technology use. So we're becoming partners in learning with our students and with AI. So that's that shift. But to be able to guide learners on this journey, AI literacy becomes a key. So we as learners, as teachers, as educators, need to be AI literate. You will see, and I won't go into details because of the lack of time, but UNESCO developed really amazing competency frameworks for students and teachers. Please take a look at those. They go from understanding, applying, create, or acquire, deepen, and create levels, and they have different domains. So please take a look into those. But what I'm trying to point out here is that AI literacy is not a single thing. It's not just you have it or you don't have it. It goes across different domains of digital literacy, talking about data analytics, digital skills, governance, infrastructure, culture, complex problem solving. We have this framework, and I'm happy to share about this in more details later. But three main points. AI is transitioning from being just a tool to becoming a learning partner. It is critical to teach and practice metacognitive skills. So we need to question AI. We can't just blindly trust. We need to develop our metacognition and to be able to navigate the challenges of the AI-infused future. And AI and teachers are becoming the partners in education, with AI literacy being the key in supporting this partnership. So I hope that I managed to communicate this message, and I'm sorry I ran out over time a little bit. But if you want to continue this discussion, happy to answer any questions you might have, and happy to follow up later on this topic as well.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sreko, for your very insightful sharing. For those who are just joining us, Dr. Sreko was actually just finished talking about familiarize teachers with the basics of AI and its applications in education. Okay, I believe teachers after this, we are getting more familiar with the AI, and also I think we have a new perspective on AI in education. Okay, now let us go to our second speaker, Prof. Dr. Liana Shuib. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Liana. Dr. Liana is a professor at the Department of Information Systems, University Malaya, Malaysia. She has expertise in personalization, e-learning, analytics, recommender systems, data science, artificial intelligence, and educational technology. She has received numerous awards from international innovation competitions and is a senior member of the IEEE Computing Society. She has contributed to education in Malaysia, particularly in assessing the digital learning ecosystem in higher education for the Ministry of Higher Education. Okay, now let us welcome again Prof. Dr. Liana. So the screen is yours, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, let me share my slide first. Okay, can you all see my slide?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, shall I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon all. Okay, so first of all, thank you for the invitation. So it's an honor to me to share the knowledge, the experience that I have with all of you. Okay. So I'm from University Malaya, Malaysia. So our university is top 60 in QS World Ranking and top 29 in the artificial intelligence and data science. So my expertise, I'm focusing on education and technology. So AI in education. So I hope I can share what I have, what I know today with all of you. Okay. So my colleague previously have explained a bit of what is AI, the history of AI. So simply said, AI refer to the simulation of human intelligence in machine. So they would like to imitate how we think, how we act, okay, how we respond. So that is what AI try to do. Okay, so you can see in the right is the subfield of AI. So if you heard this term, so they are computer vision related to image, natural language processing is related to the text, robotic is robot, right? Okay, so this is just the term in AI domain. Okay, okay. So before we go depth into how you can use AI in your task as a teacher, I would like just to go through on how does AI work. So bear with me a bit, okay? All right. So in the process of how AI can recommend you something, they need to go through this process. Okay, they will start with the data collection. So it depends on the tool. All right. So when they have the data, they need to have we call it data pre-processing. Okay, here. So data can be any kind of data. It can be from text, it can be from image, it can be from social media. So there are many types of data. So for the programmer, it's important for them to know type of data because it determine what approach that they want to use. So for us as a user, so it's not really critical. Okay, but at least you know when you read about how AI works, how this tool, you might come to this term lah. So it just want to introduce you to that kind of term. Okay, so if like this structured data means data from database in the table. Unstructured data is like image data, social media data. Okay, so once we have the data, we will go through data pre-processing. So it involve many phases. So simply said is to whether to integrate the data. So if you have two sources of data, you want to integrate it, or you want to change it. For example, from speech, you want to transform it to text, or you want to clean it, or you want to reduce it. So there are many process involved. How we choose, it depends on the needs of the application. All right. And then we will do model development. So this is the important thing. This is the brain. Okay. If you heard about machine learning, so this is actually the process of machine learning. Okay. So in model development, they will train the data to become intelligence. Okay. They will train the data and then to come up with some pattern. So we can do image recognition here. We can do text classification. We can do a lot of many kind of applications. So this is just a sample of the big category lah for the machine learning, like supervised classification, where you classify whether you are, for example, if you are a student, whether you are grade 1 student or whether you are grade 2 student. Okay. For unsupervised is clustering is, for example, we don't have the kind of grade 1 or grade 2. You just have a number of students without knowing their grade. So you pull them and then you try to classify them based on their other criteria. So maybe from that we can come out, oh, this kind of student with this profile is actually a good one, and this one maybe other category. All right. And then next, after we create the model, we create the brain for the model, and then we will evaluate them. So it's quite important if in machine learning for us to know whether our model is good, our model is good enough. All right. If the, for example, if the accuracy of the models is low, so it means that it's not good enough. Maybe our data is not enough. Maybe the data that we have only represent one section but not all. So we can't use that to say that the model can represent the overall population. So we can't say that if the data that we input into the model didn't cover that. Okay. And then after that, after that we do model optimization. So it means that if our accuracy is low, usually we will try to fine tuning it, make it better, maybe change the approach that we use, change some method here, and then we do the deployment integration to the system. Sorry. Okay, so this is the process that all the machine learning they will do, what they will do to propose you a good recommendation. Okay, so if you have used ChatGPT for example, sometimes they will ask you, did you give you two response? So which one you prefer better? So they actually try to learn from you which one that you prefer. All right. Okay, simply said, the previous one is quite detailed with the phases that we need to follow. This slide, just as simply said, this is what they do lah in AI. Okay, first they will do profiling. So they will get your demographics, your behavior, your similar profile. Okay, so if you're familiar with Canva, you know Canva? Canva is one of the AI tool where we will create the slide, we will create posters. So when we use that, usually they will ask us, they will try to get, are you a teacher? Why you want to use that slide? For what? For educational? For whom? So they will try to get the info. So at that point, actually they are doing profiling. They want to know who are you. Okay, they will try to get the info. Sometimes they will give you a few suggestions and say which one you like more. The blue one, the red one. So you will tend to click. So that is how they learn. Okay, they will try to see your demographics, your behaviors. And then if you said, I am a teacher that teach primary school. So they will try to learn from others, other teachers with the similar background, with the similar profile, to see what can they suggest to you. Okay, so all these inputs that they have, they will train the model lah. They will train the model, like I said, the brain. Okay, they will train the model and they will give recommendation. All right, but they're not stopping there. They will keep learning. Okay, they will learn from you. You give feedback whether you like the slide or not. If you say yes, I like it. So they say okay. So this teacher teach primary school. Prepare slide for educational slide, maybe certain topic, they like this kind of slide. So they have more data. So they will input it and then they will revise their profiling. Okay, so that's what actually AI does. If you familiar in using AI tools for any kind of purpose, you will realize that they will require a lot of, they will require inputs from you. If you because they want to become better, they want to learn how you think, how you respond. Okay, for example, if you use Grammarly is a AI tool for checking in terms of grammar, paraphrase. Sometimes they will ask you which one is better one, A or B, something like that lah. They will give you a few options and then you will choose which one. So they learn from you because they want to give you a better recommendation. Alright. So sometimes, yeah, usually the basic one, demographic lah. They want to know who are you, where you working, what topic you are. I mean, you are from what, computer science, you are from education, you are from social science. So they want to tackle that as a demographic so they can give you a better suggestion. Okay. So if people talk about AI, so this is actually the technology behind it. This is how it works. Okay, if I teach in class, usually the simple application that I will discuss with my student is Netflix. Alright, because Netflix actually use and not just use, they show us how actually they do the recommendation. Okay, so if you are familiar with Netflix, I'm not sure in other country, but I believe they are. So for example, if you like horror movies, so they will have one section, because you like horror movie, this is the movie that we recommend to you. But then maybe at night I like romantic movie, then they have second layer say that if you like romantic movies, this is what we recommend to you. Okay, so they learn from us, they learn from our behavior, they learn from our demographic, and they also learn from others that have similar profile with us to recommend you a better recommendations. Okay, so that's what AI try to do. So that's why we are actually a very valuable items to AI lah, because we are the one who actually feed them. Okay, we are the one who actually feed the info to them. Alright. Okay, I have go through the basic, like I can say the foundation of how AI works. Okay, from the inputs, process, the model, and then the outputs, and how we need to give feedback usually, and then the cycle will goes on lah. They will improve the model. Alright. So next, I will share. This is actually a survey from the Slide Go Education survey. They do the survey. They conducted the survey with the North America teachers. So it might not reflect us much, but I think it's somehow maybe it might be similar. Okay, for it's 2023. Okay, so from the output, from the findings, so the teachers use AI tools in this task. Okay, in this task. First, 57%, 58% lah, generate educational content. So it means like it might be generate the slide itself, might be generate the lesson plan. Okay, I have tried this actually. So some of the tool here can give you a good one, especially if you are in a hurry. If you're in a hurry. However, it's still not your expertise. They can give you a basic one and quite a good one. Like they can say that, for example, for our for in university we have 14 week semester. 14 weeks of semester. So if I put a prompt, can you provide a lesson plan for this course for these 14 weeks? They can provide quite a good one. However, they still need our expertise. We still need to fine tuning it. Okay, because based on expertise, we know that, yeah, this one we should focus more. This one we should focus less. This one might not need it. Maybe we have a new one that we need to add. Okay. But it actually can help you a lot. Okay, it can assist you to start to kick off the lesson plan. So for the generate educational content, it's 57.6%. So you can try. I didn't say that the one that I put here is the top 5 or top 10. No. So I try to find the one that I'm familiar with and the one that I recommended. But you can try because each of us has a preference. Some of us like, for example, ChatGPT, some like AI, some like Perplexity. There are many AI tools in the market. Okay, you can try. Second one, to organize class, 53.5%. So I use Google Classroom for my class, even and then there are some thing that because I've used it a few semester, they will recommend you some push like they recommend you also this you can automatically it remind your student like this and like this. So at some point it helps us. It is our task. Okay. So but for teachers that maybe learn physically, so maybe this is might not needed. But if you have like hybrid or online, then you can explore the organized class task. Third one is generate assignment, 46%. It's a good actually. It helped the teachers a lot, but again, they need your expertise to validate. You can kickstart the the generation of the assignment of the additional content, but it really need your expertise to validate it. You can't just use it. Wow, for 40 question MCQ done and then just directly use it. Please don't do that. You can do that. You can start using it, but then you check with your content, with your content material, and then check whether it's valid. Try to do it yourself in terms of level of difficulty and so on. So again, AI tool is not to replace us. It's just to ease us, to help us to make our job faster. Okay, to instead of you need to start from scratch one by one, it can give you something that have some basic on it, and then you can make it better. Okay. The fourth one is prepare presentation, 42.4%. Canva, I think the standard one people use is PowerPoint. And I realized that there are many new tools, new function in PowerPoint. They have kind of like ChatGPT as well as in PowerPoint. I try it. Okay lah. I mean, quite good. I mean, again, it can give you the kickstart. It can give you the basic. So you improve on that. Okay, instead of you need to think, oh, what should I put now? You need to Google and everything. All right. So it really help you in some point lah to ease your task. Improve text, Grammarly, pro writing it, and many more. I use Grammarly. So usually actually to check the grammar, for example, for when you prepare the assessment, then you need to check, for example, you need to prepare it in Malay and English. So for English, you can check whether the grammar is okay or not lah. So at least the simple grammar error won't be there. All right. And then to automate administrative tasks, 20%. I've gone through all the tool. It really did per se help us in terms of administrative tasks that teachers have to do or educators and lecturers have to do, because we need to attendance. Attendance, yeah, they have a tool for attendance, but not really cater the whole thing that we want to do. But you need to choose the correct AI tool that can assist you. Okay, here is actually for me is more into how you want to plan what you want to do lah. So okay, like Notion, Trello, Path. It's not really like what we claim administrative task is all the report that you need to do is not up to there yet. It's not up to there yet. Okay, I think a lot of researcher and industry working on it, but yeah, we working on it. All right. Translate, no issues lah. I think Google Translate is there for a long time ago. And then to detect fraud. So for educators in university, this is quite important, especially now of the ChatGPT and so on. So we need to ensure that our student give us the good assignment lah for us to check. Okay, so this is based on the survey. I just put examples of tools that you can explore to the task here. There are many actually other AI tools. Okay, for in terms of personalization, in terms of marking and so on. So you can explore, but ensure that you test it first. Okay, because there are really there's really many tools, many tools. If I Google after 3 months, oh, there are new tools there. Okay, you can explore, but be careful. I mean, test first, see it okay first. Okay. All right. Okay. Since there are a lot of tools, as you can see here, I just put top 5, not top lah, I just put 5 for each. There are hundreds more. All right. So as a teacher, we might use this to ease our task, but we combine it with our expertise, right? Usually we will, for example, for assessment, we check, from expertise, we know that this question is okay for standard 1, this question is okay for standard 2. Okay, so we have that kind of ability to do that. But for our student, they might not have that kind of, accountability to do that. So as a teacher, we need to guide them. Okay, so that's why for teacher, it's important for you to know the ethics in using AI. So not just for us, but also for the sake of the students. All right, first thing is accountability. So when you use any AI tools, especially assessment, you need to ensure, you need to try first. Check the review whether it's okay or not, and whether it's suitable or not, especially for teachers in primary school, secondary school. Okay. Second is transparency. If you want to mark your student using AI tools, inform them. especially if the tool is for the not MCQ lah, I mean the one that AC. For like AC, because as for now, for example, if you want to use machine learning to write our AC, if you only have 40 students, the machine needs 20 is not enough lah for the machine for the AI to get a good pattern on how to marks it well. Okay, so the input is not good enough, not enough for them to generate a very good assessment model. All right, so you need to be very transparent that students for this particular assessment, we will use, for example, this kind of AI tool to marks. You need to go there, you answer there, and we get the marks from there. So be clear on how you to use how you want to use it. All right. Third one is algorithm bias and fairness. So again, you need to test it. All right. For example, assessment, because some algorithm might say that longer essay they will give marks more marks to the longer essay, even though the content might not be so good, because it's based on the algorithm, based on the programmer code. So that's why before you want to use AI tools, test it first in like for 5 or 10 assessment and see how, whether you can use it or not. All right. The last one is data privacy and security. So especially if you are working with students with their matric number, passport number, IC number, so be careful, especially if you want to upload the whole your Excel file to the system, and then you want to analyze it to make it visualization or dashboard. So please ensure the student aware of that, the parent aware of that, the school aware of that, because it involves data privacy and security. Okay. All right, so the tips as a teacher. First, if you want to choose the tool, you align with your needs. So what you want to, for example, you think I need help in creating educational content, the slides the slide or the material, because you are new to that topic. So you can start using that kind of AI tool, but do check with the expert as well. Second is of use and integration. For example, you want to focus on designing slides, so you can go to Canva, you can go to Slides Go, try these two and then figure out which one is better for you. 3, data privacy, security, and fairness. Again, if you are using your data, your student data, especially their private detail, so be careful and ensure that the tool have comply to data privacy, because a lot of tool I think comply because they will ask us to click whether we agree or something. So do check that. And then 4, cost and scalability. Some are free, some are paid, so you can try and then you can choose. So it's up to us as well. 5th is the very, very important one. Try and test, because we're not sure how it works, because the machine learning part, I mean the accuracy part or whatsoever part is behind. We won't know, it's a black box to us. Okay, so try and see whether it's suitable to us or not, the result is good or not. Okay. Okay, so to conclude, we can say that AI brings a lot of opportunities to us in terms of to ease our tasks, to help us as a teacher. It helped a lot actually. However, do mind with the challenge, bias, data privacy, ethical use, because when we are have so many freedom, so we need to have some limitation So we as a teacher should comply to that Then try to teach, to make our student aware of that as well. And then the role of educators, so you can use a lot of AI tools in the market now, but when you want to use it with the student, be transparent and ensure that it's aligned with your educational values, especially in schools All right. So looking ahead, so yeah, we must embrace AI. It's there. Some of it is free to use, and it is us as a teacher. But try to balance it with the needs of the student as well, and then ethical consideration to create a more inclusive, effective learning environments. I think that's it from me. Thank you so much. You can contact me if you want to ask more questions. I will also share all the link of the tool that I share previously. So maybe later on, Secretariat can share to the participants. Thank you. I think that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Wow, I think our webinar is getting more exciting. With our second speakers just now, was talking about facilitate a discussion on how teachers can use AI to enhance student engagement and learning outcome. Okay, I know that we teachers, do have problems in making sure of the student engagement in the classroom. So I hope that after this, we can try to use AI to ease our job as a teacher, not to to use
Yes.
it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we are coming to our last speaker. Let us welcome Mr. Travis Clapp. Okay, he is the co-founder of CourseBox.ai, an innovative startup dedicated to revolutionizing the way online courses are created and delivered. Travis and his team at CourseBox.ai are developing AI-driven solutions that include AI tutors, AI assessors, and AI course design. These tools enable sophisticated course creation and seamless publishing across various platforms, including existing learning management system, LMS. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor of welcoming Travis Clapp. So the screen is yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Wonderful presentations. So thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen and we'll go from there. And I'm using one of the tools that was just described, Canva from Australia as well. It's a great tool. And I'm going to present my screen. Here we go. Okay, so my name is Travis Clapp, and as the introduction it was just explained, I'm the CEO and a co-founder at CourseBox.ai, which has been 9 years in the making. I thought I'd start by talking a little bit about me and my journey. Now that I've reached the ripe old age of 47, I studied computer science and mathematics, and then in my 20s, I actually moved into an acting career and studied musical theatre, and then I went into art and sculpture and painting, and that's what you can see there on the left, some of my earlier works from that time, and then you can actually see a painting more recently of my wife and our dog there on the left. So just talking about that dichotomy in my life between the arts and computer science and mathematics. In my 30s, when I turned 30, I actually went and taught English to children in South Korea. So I really started developing a passion for teaching. And I came back to Australia, did my master's in interactive multimedia at the University of Technology, Sydney, and developed, I think because of my background, quite a special interest in instructional design, which is the industry I've been in for the last 15 years. Now, on the right, you can see some of the designs I was doing 15 years ago. So designing courses in SCORM, SCORM format for learning management systems for corporations like McDonald's and hospitals and Guzman y Gomez, and even the Gulf Association in Australia. And around that time, mid-30s, I moved into IT consulting, web development, and in particular platform development. So the last 9 years, I've been building at first a learning management system, and the last 3 years with a new co-founder, I've gone a hard pivot into CourseBox, artificial intelligence, and course authoring. So this is where I'm up to in my journey, and I thought that might bridge the gap a little bit between the technology that we've been talking about, which can be quite heavy and maybe daunting, but also I'm a teacher as well and an instructional designer. And I've worked in every area you can imagine, from corporations to higher education to schools, Most recently, I actually consulted at an all-girls school in South Australia on what they're trying to do with moving gently into artificial intelligence, but also overhauling their existing technologies. So what is CourseBox? Really exciting. I love this product. I hope you do as well. It's about rapid course creation and delivery. You can use it on any platform in any language. And it's more than that, as alluded to. So it's virtual tutoring, it's virtual assessments. So I'll just introduce my co-founder as well on the right, Alex Hay from Perth. I actually met him online, a bit like online dating, right? We met through the Y Combinator California matching service where you can find a co-founder. And it turned out that he was also in Australia, so that worked out really well. And he's really good at marketing, whereas I'm passionate about the product and the education side. So that was a really good fit. If any of you are in business as well, it's great to have a co-founder after 15 years prior working by myself. So yeah, I worked for Open Colleges, Adelaide University. We built out the first massively open online courses with EDX back in the day, about 10 years ago. Adelaide Airport, School of Audio Engineering, you name it, I've worked across the industry a lot. And Alex comes from more of a B2C background in marketing. So I like this image. I often say this was me 15 years ago as part of my pitch, because we've been doing an accelerator program in Perth. It's obviously not me, but the idea is true. So 15 years ago, building all these different courses as an instructional designer, I would work with subject matter experts and collate back and forth with all the content that Johnson & Johnson might already have, or a school teacher might already have, and convert that into online training. And it took months. It was a big process. Part of the problem, as well as communication and collation of materials, is to try and put that into an agreeable outline. So one of the first things we've solved is, how do you create a course outline in 30 seconds? So we've done that. And then the next question is, well, can you consolidate 1 to 3 months of work in instructional design down to as much as 10 minutes? Well, with our algorithm and with instructional design, yes, we think we've done that, and you can do it in any language, thanks to the magic of open AI and how we can sort of integrate that with API and all of the, I don't want to get into too much technical jargon, so I'll stop there. But here it is. We've got a box, right? CourseBox AI, and you can put all of your documents into the box, all your ideas. And we have a designer in that box. So we're a virtual designer. We've got a tutor. So you can have a chatbot for all your students in any language on any topic. And it's so easy to build. And we've got an assessor. So you can ask students to upload an essay or just write a paragraph about a case study. And in 10 seconds, it will use a grading rubric and give feedback. So very templated, useful, in-depth feedback in 10 seconds. So that's pretty cool. That's what CourseBox is all about, those 3-part solutions. So again, the first part is we've got a 4-step process, and you can create a course, you describe it, you say the language you want, how big, how many pages do you want, how many quizzes, how many assessments. And yeah, that's that process. So you can get that high-level design like it's a virtual instructional designer in a box, right? And then it will go and write all of the pages, all of the quizzes, all of the assessments in 10 minutes. And, as the last professor alluded to, check the work, refine it, make it more beautiful, because you'll be putting it out there to your students. The second part is this AI assessment. So as part of that first 30 seconds and 10 minutes, we will create case studies, right? So that can be used in so many different ways in the classroom, and it makes a more personalized course each time you generate one. And it can generate those rubrics. So whether you manually want to grade some work and just keep that consistent, or if you want our AI to do it for you, it's going to have that consistency for all your students. And it's super quick, so it saves you lots of time and money and lets you get on with doing other tasks, right? And the third part is this tutor. So we've spent a lot of time and effort on making a personalized chatbot. And so you always got that, and you've probably seen all those often quite boring, rigid, PowerPoint-like sort of online courses, and you might have to do them as a teacher when you're doing your own onboarding into a new school. It's like click, 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 get through the, but sometimes you actually want to learn a bit more. And so if you've got a personalized chatbot, let's say it's Bob, and you can ask, and you can ask in your own language, you're going to have a better learning experience. Now, because we're LMS agnostic, so you can use any platform, and because perhaps you can do it in any language, we're in 181 countries. And it's just been crazy the last just 14 months alone, watching that expansion. So there's the map of where all of our clients are. And what makes us a bit different to a lot of the competitors is that it's extremely fast, to create a course. And if you go into, let's say, another LMS or something like Blackboard, you click through about 15 different things, and maybe you can use a bit of AI on your content. Whereas ours, right from the beginning, it just makes it so simple and easy. And you can try this yourselves because it's a freemium product. So we currently have 60,000 course creators, and it's growing 20% month on month. We get a new 1,000 users every week. It's free to use, so you can jump on. You can even follow along now, because I'm about to do a demonstration, coursebox.ai. Now, on the right, you'll see, is it engaging or it's boring? Well, it's very engaging because you've got that tutor your students can easily chat with and learn from. We've got this text to video option, a bit like Synthesia, HeyGen. Well, we're building our own, so you can have this virtual video teacher on every page, makes it more engaging. And of course, all of the things like drag and drop and tabs and all the interactions, you can do that as well. So this is our big statement. Canva took down Adobe, arguably, in many ways. And that's often where you will reach. Instead of Photoshop now, you might go to Canva. Coursebox is looking at the big players like Articulate 360, which is often where you might reach to create an online learning. So this is the 4-step process here. So the first step is describe your course. Step 2, upload all of your documents that you want. Your course, so that's how we call it, training the AI or the brain of our system. Step 3, well, who's your student? Describe it, because it's very different to have a 15-year-old boy in maths class in Algeria to a 27-year-old professional on a mine site in Western Australia. So describe that in step 3, and step 4, how many pages do you want? That's how simple it is, and we do the rest. And this is the sort of course content you might get. So this is a registered training organisation in South Australia. They use our platform to roll out compliant content. And you can see that they've used this text to video. So on every page, the learner has this video engagement with, it's a fake person, it's Rosetta, we've given her a name, a face. And then on the right, we've got the chatbot as well. So Rosetta can answer any deeper questions. And in this case, it's about responsible serving of alcohol. But you can imagine using that in a myriad of ways. All your learners really have this in their pocket on our mobile apps, because we have free mobile apps as well. You can just completely engage there. Now, I talked about all languages. Well, that's the beauty of using OpenAI, which is what created ChatGPT, that whatever language they support, we support it as well. And it's so exciting. Some months we see 30% of all courses in Arabic, in Jordan, in Oman, in Saudi Arabia. There's a huge uptake in Southeast Asia here as well. And over 50% of our paying subscribers are in North America and Europe. It's LMS agnostic. So a lot of course authoring tools, let's say you're using Udemy or Thinkific or something, you can't just plug and play that into other learning management systems like Moodle or Blackboard, and often you really need to. So because we have LTI, Learning Tools Interoperability, it means it can just sit in any learning platform that you have. We've also got SCORM 1.2 or 2004. So you can export the course, you can put that as a box, wherever you want, as an iframe. So I'll show you what that looks like. If you've got just a web page and you want a free course resource for students to jump into, or in your classroom, they can just click into it and it's just on your website. Really easy. PDF, you can export it as a PDF, or just a share link. Just send an email and you can ask people to jump into your course. Here's an example of compliance. So, the old way of doing compliance in Australia, and I'm talking about registered training organizations, is you see all these pen marks, they're trying to map it and make sure they're really compliant. Maybe they go to ChatGPT to create an outline, then they go to another piece of software. This does everything for you, just all in one solution. Just upload your document, describe your course, and we'll do the rest. So great for compliance, onboarding of teachers in a school, certainly for generating lesson plans or just more face-to-face engagement in a classroom as well. And I've put on the screen here just a few ideas around that. So you can create resources really quickly for on-demand classroom activities or a quiz or an assignment. You can create automated grading with those assignments, so you save a lot of time. You can save hundreds of thousands of dollars in schools and universities. And virtual tutors, so you've really got that ongoing 24/7 support. And as teachers, we can't be there all the time, so it's great to just have that guidance, whether it's a chat bot on your phone or it's a more interactive. So one of the really cool things you might not know about is called Hey Gen. They're releasing this new feature, which is just like me talking now. You have this video teacher experience, and I think that's where things are moving, actually. Okay, so I'm going to jump into a live demo. How does it work? Let's go through it. So there's two ways you can use CourseBox. The free system, or the solo expert, is called my.coursebox.ai, and you can jump in there and create courses in our community. Or you can have a fully branded installation for your school, so you can have your branding. And here's another, I'm just trying to move that block. Here's some different branded installations, any language. Our platform, you can change it to Arabic or Thai or whatever you wish, and you can build those courses there as well. Now I'm just going to create a course. So I'll click the plus, click courses, and I'm in. In fact, the default here, I've just set it to Thai, but for this demonstration, let's go with Australian English. Describe your course. Well, let me think. Teaching English in South Korea for 14-year-old students. So this one's not going to be for students, but it's going to be towards teach the teacher, let's say today. I'm not going to upload any documents, but this is where I would do it, or I could paste in a website. And then who's your learner? I'm going to say it's, let's say, new teachers in South Korea, aged 20 to 30 in Hagwons. I don't know how to spell that, but that will do. And then how many lessons? So this is how many pages do you want for this online learning? I'm going to create 3 lessons. A lesson's like a chapter. How many topics? Well, how many pages in each one? I'm just going to make it a short course this time. So we'll just have 3 pages per lesson, just to give you an idea, but you can make that 100 pages. In fact, yesterday we had somebody in Germany building a course that was 840 pages in 12 lessons, and it's supposed to take 2 hours to complete. And that was using 160 documents. So that was quite an effort, all in German. And we click next. Now, the first 30 seconds, there's Bob, our little robot friend. He's going to go and generate our outline for us. And we'll just wait for that. And then once the outline is generated, that gives us an opportunity as learning designers to edit that, add in more topics, add in more lessons, quizzes, and make sure that's really good and ready to go. Now, while that's loading up, I'm going to go to another tab, and I'm going to show you some of the other features of our platform. So in the CourseBox community, as I say, we've got 60,000 in our community, and it's growing every day. This is what you can do if you white label our platform. You can have your own community as well, with messaging, with profile pages, and you can build these out, and you get your own dashboard. And we can have a look at my dashboard here. You can add in your experience, education. So a lot of the things you can do with a learning management system, but you don't have to do a branded version. You can just use the courses and put them into your learning management system as I described. You can build out your own course library as well. And if we look at this other portal here, we can see an example, like I say, of a course that's a bit further along. And we've got Rosetta in the HITSA course, who's going to present each page as we go through.
Understanding the definitions within the liquor licensing.
And in this case, we've used HeyGen to generate videos from text, and we can generate those scripts. We've also used Synthesia, another great video creation tool using AI. And we have an integration with Synthesia. So all you have to do is paste in your API, select the script on each page, and it takes 10 minutes because it takes a while. It'll generate a video on each page. And then on the right, well, I can just ask, well, what are the learning objectives for this course? And bang, I've got that interactive chatbot experience. Or I can just, and they can ask in any language. Tell me in Thai, please. Let's see what she says. There we go. So now we'll probably have this conversation in Thai. Sawasdee krap. Kap kong krap, I mean. And then here's another one. So for 9 years, we've been working with Adelaide University, and you can see they have a news feed that you can engage using this platform. You can fully customize all your colors, logos, and you don't have to use Moodle. If you don't have a learning management system, this actually has an LMS built into it as well. So it's one of the only AI course authoring tools you can put anywhere. And if you want, you can upgrade and have the full LMS as well. And you can see that they work with the World Health Organization as a collaboration center and teach doctors 24/7 all around the world using our platform here in how to manage addiction. So that's a good application in the medical world. I want to show you a branded version in a different language. So what you can do, not that I can read what this is saying, don't read Arabic very well, you can change the language of your platform, and you can also generate courses in different languages as well. You can really change the theme and colors and styles, not just of courses, but of the platform itself. And there we are. I'm just coming back now to the demo. And what you can see is it's generated our course outline. So we've got the course title, Teaching English in South Korea for 14-year-old Students. Easy. Description, learning objectives, and then we're going to teach to those objectives. Course tags, that makes it easier to search with. But then the most important part is creating this course structure. So the first part is a rigorous way to just get your students, or staff in this case, onboarded. So introduction, competencies, what are the applications of this course? What's some further reading links? So we have an integration with Google for that. Then it goes in and it breaks it down, much like you would see in ChatGPT, but we've brought in instructional design, first principles for adult learning and for younger learners as well. Then it's drafted quiz question, assignment, and it repeats that process based on your advanced settings. When you're ready, you just hit the bottom button, save and generate, and whatever language you've selected, in about 10 minutes, you'll see every page is just magically written. And it should start showing us the courses there. What else? Oh yeah, you can see that starting to write in the background. And it does take about 10 minutes, but the results are worth waiting for. Now, it's a course authoring tool. So the first step it does is on every page, it will write the course content, then the quiz, then the assessment. But on the right there, you'll see that you can add in image galleries, files, video galleries, and slideshows. So even this presentation that I've been doing today, I can just copy this link, in fact. So share, let's do that. Why not? Public view link, copy that, go into my course, click on slides, paste that, and you can beautify any page very quickly. So bang, look at that. I've got my Canva slideshow in this course page. It's finished generating the text. I can even, so this is really good for blended learning, isn't it? And there we are. We've got my presentation embedded into the course really easily. I can see that I'm running out of time, so I'll wrap up shortly. And I set my own alarm clock, so I think I've got about a minute. There's a button here for audio, so it will just read out the text on the page to your students. You don't have to upload text to make it a bit more usable. I'm going to jump ahead here because I'm running out of time to this area. So it will generate your quiz questions automatically. You can add in more by using this quiz writer tool. It will generate your assignments and it gives immediate feedback. So I can upload a Word document and in about 30, you can see it's actually writing the assessment as we're talking. But and my grading rubric down the bottom, you can edit that. Students can upload automatically, will generate those assignments and it will go into your grade book as well. I wanted to show you one more thing. Where was it? This page here. So you can see this is an iframe on a web page, but it's the whole course. And in here, I've got a case study, I've got a grading rubric, and you can actually find this. If you go to our website, you'll find this example. You can play around with it. I click submission here, and you can see 3 months ago, Alison wrote her response. The administrator using AI graded that automatically using the rubric. So understanding, application, critical thinking, and that's gone into the gradebook. And if it was synchronized to your LMS, it will go into your gradebook. I'm coming back to my actual presentation here because I just want to jump back in and wrap this up. Back to present. I had just a couple more items and then that's it. So how can you use AI and where's the future of this? Well, you can see, I hope that there's a massive benefit for teachers to save time and engage your students using these tools, tutors, assessors, creating resources on demand. You can see there's a gamut of uses from government, corporate to teachers in schools. What are the trends we're seeing with AI? I think it's moving more and more to this sort of video-based interactive engagement. I think robots are going to be in our houses pretty soon, and they're going to be teaching us probably maybe more practical skills. Certainly, and finally, I think we're going to have teachers in our pocket, more general AI like we were talking about. It's going to be a very exciting future ahead. And where are we going? Well, we're creating more and more of these engaging chatbot and video-based learning experiences. Try it for free today at coursebox.ai. If you or your organization want to have a meeting with me for a proper demo, we can do that absolutely. That's it. Thanks very much, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Travis. I really love this course box.
Great.
Because for your information, Travis, here my friend and I, we are all together. We are six of us here. We are doing our online instructional design course with the Illinois University. I think if SEAMEO RECSAM can have this course box for us, it will ease our job to do our assignment.
Great. Yeah, it
Okay.
definitely speeds things up for
Yeah.
instructional designers.
Yeah. Sure. I will go for the free demo for course.com, coursebox.com, and
.ai.
coursebox.ai. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Travis. We are coming to our Q&A session. Right. So here we have 5 questions. Okay. So I will curated the questions here. The first one will be, okay, before that, all these questions, the first one will be for Dr. Shreko. Okay, the second one will be for Prof. Liana, and the third one will be for Travis. Okay, the fourth and the fifth one we will give to all of you. Okay, so the fourth and fifth, you will answer that question about 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, for the 1 and 2, 3 question, we give you about 5 minutes to respond to the question. All right, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first one, how can AI help in fostering critical thinking, creativity, or problem-solving skills among students? please, Dr. Shreko.
Thank you. I think that's a great question, right? And if you I mean, we saw Liana's overview of some of the tools and platforms, and Liana also made some great points about, yeah, we shouldn't just accept responses from AI, but we should work with AI in generating the answers to the questions that we have. So I think when it comes to critical thinking, we have bigger responsibility than relying on AI to help us in developing critical thinking. But definitely, when it comes to creativity or problem solving, there is a huge space for AI, and we've seen that I would just mention three main areas. The first one being idea generation or brainstorming. So you can drop any kind of concept, questions, ideas to AI, and you can easily come up with a lot of potential ways to solve your problem. And of course, then it comes to us, which one we will take. The same for when it comes to creativity. We can, as we could see in Travis' presentation and Liana's presentation as well, we can just drop a simple prompt and get a lot of creative ideas how to design our slides or how to design our lectures or whatever the problem we're trying to solve. The second one is data analysis, which became, I would think, more accessible than ever. You can simply upload Excel file, CSV file to ChatGPT nowadays and ask ChatGPT to analyze data for you. Of course, it's up to us what kind of questions we ask, and it's up to us to understand the output we are getting. But analyzing data is probably easier than ever. Not easy, but easier. And I would also think simulations and modeling. I was I was using some earlier versions of ChatGPT to explain the gradient descent. When you try to explain backpropagation, gradient descent becomes a really important concept, and it's hard sometimes for students to understand. And just in few prompts, I was able to create a simulation and a model of gradient descent and to share with students to make it easier for them to understand. So I would think three main ways would be, as I said, brainstorming, data analysis, and simulation and modeling. Of course, there are many other ways, but these would be my top three.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Shreko. I think with the explanation just now, it can be an eye opener to teachers, okay, to help their students to foster the critical thinking skills, creativity, and also problem solving skills. Okay, now we go to the next question. How can AI be integrated into classroom instruction to enhance personalized learning while adhering to ethical standards? Okay, so Prof. Liana, please.
Okay, so personalized learning is what the dream of the teachers and educators, but it's not easy to implement, especially if you have limited cost, limited budget, and so on. So in terms of IT, we're working on it, but it's not accessible to all the teachers. So what we can do as a teachers, to personalize the learning, you can actually have various materials, various approach when you teach. Okay, so it means that in one topic you can have the material in terms of like video from YouTube or video you record by yourself, in terms of text slide or text in PDF. So you can try to have not just one material for each topic, but various learning object in various type of materials, and also try to have different activities each week. For example, this week you ask them to present. Next week, try using like Kahoot or Mentimeter for them to engage. So this is what we can do, unless you have more budget to go through the more big systems. And for the ethical standard, again, if you want to use AI tool, check the the AI tools, whether they comply to the data privacy or not. Okay, that is from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I believe the answer will guide teachers after this on how to integrate AI in order to enhance the personalized learning among the students. All right, so the third one will go to Travis. What are some best practices for ensuring that AI tools are used effectively without losing the human touch in teaching? So
When I
please.
wrote when I wrote my final paper for my master's degree in about 2010, it was actually about cyborgs and cyborgism. I don't know, that saying that we're already all cyborgs, whether we're taking Panadol as a kind of a technology hybrid human experience or using mobile phones. And I think that we're very much in the cyborg era as far as hybrid experiences with artificial intelligence. And it's really, I think it's actually quite hard to separate now. It's such a part of our lives as teachers, as educators, but also as students. I think we have to move forward. You know, as Sreko said, maths teachers walking out saying no calculators, it's not going to help us, banning AI. To keep it human and real, I think it's really important to hold that perspective. And I don't think always just banning things and saying don't do it is necessarily going to help. We have to just embrace it, work together, keep it human. The first time I experienced this sort of thing was in that same master's degree. I was asked to watch 2 hours of video instead of going to a lecture. And the idea was that would help me because the lecturer was then freed up for an hour and a half to walk around the room and be more engaging and human with all of us students. And I rebelled against it. I hated it. I thought it was terrible. But I ended up getting the best subject grades ever in the way that worked with that flipped classroom model. So it was a bit innovative, I think, for the time. And I think it's the same sort of thing. You can flip classrooms around. You can work in these hybrid ways. You can put some students perhaps in front of a scenario-driven, video-based interaction, and you've provided the guidance and guidelines. And at the end, have a discussion or a critical analysis. Maybe, and I think this is one thing that you can do in schools as well. We talked about this last year at that all-girls school I was talking about, that you bring in critical analysis and more human reflective activities. Why don't you compare these three different ways of using AI and interacting with it to solve a solution? And then we talk about it and really think about, well, what was the best solution for you and why? And I think that's one way that you can embrace it, but also keep it very human as well for educators, but also for the students.
Okay, thank you, Travis. It's good actually to hear from the expert on the AI tools. All right, we go on to the fourth question. So all the three of you, we hope that you can answer this question. Looking ahead, how do you see AI shaping the future of education, both in terms of content delivery and student engagement? Okay, anybody wants to start first, or we just go? Maybe Prof. Liana, you want to start first?
Okay, all right. AI shaping the future of education in terms of content delivery and student engagement. So, in terms of content delivery and student engagement, I believe, yeah, it's a good thing actually. I mean, we will have teachers will have a lot more options to be more interactive, and it somehow actually can enhance the student understanding and have a better engagement, because previously we have the standard way of teaching, right? Teaching through lecture and then maybe physical activities, but now we have more tools, more apps that we can use to engage the students. And because of the personalized learning, so some of them maybe understand through games, some of them understand through videos. So these options give them a better options, can give them a various way to understand the content. So in this part, it's good lah for the students. Okay.
Okay, Travis, any
I think
response from you?
I think if we think about augmented reality glasses, I think that's an interesting case study where if you just sort of, a kid walking around a mechanical workshop, and as you look around, it's using AI perhaps to read out what the objects are. Or if I'm in Malaysia and I'm trying to learn French, and I give that signal to the AI in augmented mode, and it can show me the words, le beurre and so on. When I see the butter on the table, maybe not so useful in that context, but I think there's some really interesting applications, and in particular in medicine for that sort of augmented reality. Oh, that's the spleen I'm supposed to cut. Oh, that's good. Hopefully the surgeon knows what he's doing though. But certainly for training scenarios. So I think that's one example. There's just so many, and there's a lot of fear around AI as well, that it's going to hold dominion over us, or that students are using it to cheat, and are they going to learn those critical skills and actually be able to write anything, or is there going to be a laziness that sets in, and we're all going to live in the Wall-E cartoon future? That is a risk, and it is worrying, and that's why I think more than ever we need to teach critical thinking earlier, so that we can objectively sit back and think. And why is it important that I actually do practice and learn how to write and communicate, moreover, well in the future world.
Okay, Dr. Shreko?
So they say that it's good to have a panel where people disagree, so you can have some kind of discussion. But I think we all agree here that we should embrace AI in an ethical and way, in a way that would give equal access to everyone. So I think that's the reality. And I like Travis' example with those augmented reality glasses. And we have seen recently Meta released new glasses that are actually one step closer to where we might want to be with that technology. But OpenAI also, I mean, not but OpenAI also released the voice interface to ChatGPT, which will also change quite a bit how we access and interact with the AI. I think that's a great feature, because we don't want to type all the time, and we are used to talking to our teachers and interacting with other humans. So having that opportunity to interact with AI in a more natural way will take us closer to what has been there for ages, that dialogic or Socratic learning, where we actually interact with AI one-on-one and ask questions and get answers in real time. I also like what Travis showed in terms of how we can personalize learning in a way. Because dialogic or that Socratic learning is not as easy as it sounds. If I ask Travis to teach me statistics 101, no matter how much I enjoy talking to Travis, at some point it might become difficult to explain all the concepts just in words. So we will have to create on the fly some of the content, which we actually can do at the moment. So the content, although some parts and bits and pieces of the content can be pre-generated because they are common across the board, they can be actually now created on the fly. So all that being said, I think we will, as educators, we will have more time to dedicate to our learners and help them develop all those human skills that I mentioned in the presentation, that we actually value as society. So yeah, I think we will have, I hope we will have more time to focus on that human-centric view of education.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think we agree that we have to embrace AI in ethical ways. Okay, the last one, this is very interesting. Some argue that AI could stifle human creativity and diminish critical thinking skills. How do you respond to this view? And what strategies can educators adopt to ensure AI enhances rather than limits the development of students' thinking? Okay, let's hear from Travis first.
Yeah, it's interesting. We actually touched on this quite a few times already, so I'll try not to repeat what's already been said. I think giving students exercises, certainly where they do need to reflect on, I think problem-based teaching is probably the answer. And Elon Musk talks about this in his school he set up as well, that you can maybe give all the tools, go for it, use Grok if you want, but you need to get to this end point because this is the problem you're trying to solve. And then we want you to use some sort of critical thinking and reflect throughout your journey. And I'll be here as a teacher to help you do that. And that brings in that human aspect as well, so that we're all accepting that they're tools that we're working with rather than something scary or something dangerous or even something as far as plagiarism, unethical. So I think if we work in that direction, that's probably the way I would go about it, and ensure those critical things. Because even now, like I was in a party the other day, and somebody said, "Can you just like generate a picture of us all as unicorns because we're all businesses?" And about 3 seconds later, I just typed it in, uploaded my photo, and suddenly we're all in a party as unicorns. So there's a lot of creativity, in fact, that's emerging from GPT and these tools as well. But I think we can have fun with that and accept it for what it is. But maybe I need to make 15 different pictures of unicorns and select the best one and then edit that and go into So I think it's not going to diminish creativity necessarily.
Okay. So, Dr. Shreko, any comment from you?
I have a few colleagues here who work more in creativity than I do, and definitely know the area much better than I do. And there are different opinions how to what extent AI is or is not creative. I think personally that AI can just help um, foster our creativity in so many ways. But the great question is around critical thinking. We see that a lot of developers now use tools like ChatGPT to when they write the code, right? So if I'm coding something, I can just ask, hey, how to write this for loop or this or that, and I will get the answer. Two important points there. I need to know what questions to ask, and if one thing comes out of all these interactions with AI is that we will learn how to ask better questions. But the second thing, I disagree that we don't need to learn coding anymore. I think we should, and we should start even earlier, because it's not just about learning how to code in Python. It's about learning how to solve problems. It's about learning how to think critically. So all those topics around critical thinking, problem solving should probably come much earlier than they do now. And it will allow us to interact in so many more some better ways with AI. So yeah, I think let's start with critical thinking, problem solving as early as we can.
Okay, so Prof. Liana, the last one for you.
Okay, I think for this question 5, right, actually it's a challenge to the educators. Um, the most used, I think, AI tools for students is ChatGPT now. If they can ask questions there. So we are trying our best to give a hot problem, critical thinking problem, but they can use ChatGPT to answer that. So it's a challenge actually in education now. So what strategies can we adapt, can we embed so we need to be creative. Educators need to be creative in preparing the assessment, in discussing the content. So what I do, so we try to give like project-based, case-based project assignments to the students, but we will have for them to present whatever that they do in the project. They need to present to us. Then we can give them questions verbally, let them answer. So even though they might use, AI tools to prepare all those things, but they should understand it. So if they understand it, then okay, our learning objective is achieved. Okay, that's from me. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you to all our speakers today. To me, I think we should have another round of discussion because I think this is a very good webinar for today. And I hope that everybody in this webinar has an insightful knowledge and perspective, a new perspective on AI. And to wrap up this interesting discussion we had on this artificial intelligence and how teachers can use it to their advantage, we would like to thank our esteemed panelists for sharing their insights and expertise with us today. So now I will pass to our MC. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Wan, and also the speakers. It was an engaging discussion. Dear participants, we hope that their perspective have given you new ideas on how to integrate AI into your teaching practices and help prepare your students for the future. Remember, AI is a tool that can augment human intelligence, not replace it. As we move forward into a more technologically advanced era, let us continue to use AI and other innovations to improve education and create a better world. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us know your thoughts on today's session. The link to evaluation feedback form can be scanned through the QR code on the screen, and our moderator will also post it in SEAMEO RECSAM's YouTube and Facebook comment section. Certificates will be issued to participants who pre-registered, attend the session via Facebook Live, and complete the evaluation form after this program. The form must be submitted by 11:59 tonight. Your feedback is extremely important to us, and we value our audience participation from all over the world, so thank you for joining us. If you could make if you could make a few remarks while you are taking the survey, allow us to express our gratitude once again to our collaborators for making this possible. To the Ministry of Education Thailand, ASEAN Secretariat, SEAMEO Simolec, SEAMEO STEMED, and University Malaya. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are down to the final stretch of our program. Before we conclude our event, we will have a special group photo for our moderator and speakers. Distinguished guests, speakers, moderator, and committee, could you please turn on your cameras? And I will count to take the group photo. Okay, the ICT please. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think it's good now.
One more time. Okay.
One more time. Okay. Give your best smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Travis, Dr. Shreko, Dr. Prof. Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank you very
so
much.
much. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to follow SEAMEO RECSAM social media platform for more training opportunities. This concludes today's programming. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Dr. Ron, how are you?
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.